Will decide whether or not to legalize marijuana. Issue 3, a constitutional amendment, allows both medical and recreational pot in Ohio. Recently, reporter Jeff Hirsch and photographer Dan Cavens went to Denver to see how legal marijuana is working in Colorado. They found a local guy who ended up being a major mover and shaker in the Denver cannabis business.
And this room has about another 20 plus days left. So
Nick Heiss grew up learning about potted plants. Now he grows planted pot.
once they get a really nice root system, we pull the plants out and we plant them into one of these 3-inch cubes. So basically they're going from a 1-inch plug into a 3-inch cube, and we'll stick them in these for another week and a half to 2 weeks until we get really good root development coming out of these plants.
Heiss is originally from Waynesville in Warren County, Ohio. His parents owned a nursery, so Nick grew up with a green thumb, which is just continuing.
Essentially the first month in the flowering room, they're pretty much still stretching and putting on height. And then the last 30 to 40 days, they're essentially just developing width on the flower and developing weight on the flower.
Heiss got into the legal cannabis biz in 2009. With the economy crashing, Heiss moved from Ohio to Denver, where the pot business was hiring. He joined a medical marijuana company called Denver Relief and is now a co-owner. Since Colorado voters okayed recreational pot in 2012, business has jumped 50%.
There are no corners cut, so to speak, for the recreational product compared to the medical product.
Part marketer and part horticulturalist, Heiss now also has Denver Relief Consulting, advising others on the business: lights, soil, action.
Absolutely. It's very much like growing a lot of other plants. Specifically, I would associate it with herbaceous vegetables like tomatoes and cucumbers and things like that. A lot of the growing practices and styles are very similar, if not almost identical. The nutrient recipes can be tweaked a little bit specifically for cannabis, but in most other ways they're very much like growing a lot of other plants.
Of course, it's not exactly the same. Tomatoes are legal everywhere and are not, as marijuana is in Colorado, licensed, as they say, from seed to sale and taxed.
We have a couple different identifiers on here. We'll write our in-house identifiers on here, including the weight of the package, but then we also have the state tracking system.
Obviously, Nick Heiss favors legal marijuana.
We've probably got anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 plants in the building at any one time.
But Heiss is not thrilled with the marijuana legalization campaign in Ohio. For example, he says the Ohio group's Buddy the Mascot trivializes a serious issue.
I mean, it's just like Joe Camel, right? Nobody wants Joe Camel advertising to their kids for cigarettes, and it's the same way with Buddy the Mascot.
Heiss also disagrees with how the Ohio legalization proposal limits the state to 10 marijuana grow farms, with perhaps one more down the road.
I would probably be willing to bet my paycheck that it would pass if it wasn't set up in the way it was. I think if they would have followed some other states that led the way, that they would have a better chance of passing it. Having the limited cultivation facilities is a big issue. Not only the fact that they limited them, but the fact that it's the investors that are running the campaign that have the right to those facilities. In most other states like Illinois, there's a very intensive application process that goes on. For the 21 licenses that they decided to distribute in Illinois, for example, I'm not sure what the exact number was, but there were hundreds, if not thousands, of applications that were submitted, which allows for a very intensive vetting process.
Whether Ohioans say yes to legal marijuana this election day or not, Ohioan Nick Heiss believes that facilities like this will be sprouting all across the United States in the not too terribly distant future. He believes legalization of marijuana in the entire country is just a matter of time.
In my opinion, the tide has already turned.
In Denver, Jeff Hirsch, Local 12 News.
Responsible Ohio, the group backing a yes vote on issue 3, says Buddy the Mascot is not aimed at kids, but rather millennials over the age of 21. The pro-pot group also says the 10 marijuana grow farms will compete with each other and will not coordinate their business plans.